good enough? Hello again, Dharma brothers and sisters. This is the second week. An inquiry raised by a yogi brother last week that how you should address me as. And this is the first time that I have some kind of pondering upon that. Actually, deep down inside my heart, I don't feel that I deserve to be called Thầy. In Vietnamese, Thầy means teacher. That means some kind of authority upon you. Why did I say that? Because of the mind. There are so many deeper layers of the mind which I haven't mastered yet. And you, the yogis, might have came across that already. So in that case, you become my teacher. But since I took the ordination, I took the robe, what else should you address me as? Thầy, still. But in a sense that I would like to be a friend, a companion, together with you all, instead of being some kind of differentiation, separation because of the being a teacher and being a student. No, I don't like that kind of sense. And together we are on the journey, quest for liberation. The word Sangha in a general term translated by Bhikkhu Bodhi, he said that it's not, the word Sangha is not only for nuns and monks, but for all the people who strive for liberation. So if you have a heart for meditation, you want to be free, then you are one of those Sangha members. So we all together, we go in a quest for liberation. Last week I have mentioned something like this. I'm going to do it again. The more you probe into the mind, the more that you know what the mind is, the less suffering you are. If you know your mind totally, then you are free. Free of what? Free of fear. Fear of death. Fear of losing your loved one. Fear of losing your jobs. And then cutting down the securities or benefits, such a thing like that. You eradicate all of that. My way of sharing is that I often bring up the subject of the mind because to me it's so important. It's really important. In this kind of entity, there are two components, the body and the mind. There's nothing else. The body relies on the mind in order to move. And the mind relies on the body in order to express what it wants to express. So this mind and bodies are very, very crucial factors in meditation. So together, really together, we probe into it. We go as far as we can, as deep as we can, so we can find out what it is. The entity of the mind, the entity of the body. So we can head in the same direction of liberation. Enough of that nonsense, okay? Now we go into it a little bit. I was trained in a kind of progressive oriented. So quite often that I'll share the ideas of meditation by what to do, this, blah, 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 blah. So that's why that when you walk, I share the idea of how to walk. When you meditate, I share the idea of how to meditate, such a thing like that. In meditation now, we go into it a little bit, okay? In meditation, there are two general plots that are the gradual and the sudden. There are only two ways. The gradual is the step-by-step progression with the object. The sudden meditation is that you eliminate all the objects, but you strike forward to find the true nature within yourself. People call that a Buddha nature, naked awareness. The knowing, there are so many names for it. But these two approaches, they head in the same direction of letting go of the self, because of what is enlightenment means freedom. What is freedom? Non-attachment of everything. These two approaches, they go in a different direction. Okay, and the step-by-step progression is that you choose an object within your body, either that your breath, your sensation, your visualization, your mind-to-mind meditation, any kind of object. You grab onto it, hold onto it, meditate, study, dissect, analyzing, and then you will see the outcome of it when you come to the end of that. The sudden meditation is that trying to find the true nature mind, the true ground of being within this entity. But it's very hard way. It's not that easy. Yesterday, my grandmaster said that someone come to him and say, Master, I wanted to I wanted to study Zen. Okay, stay with me for 3 years. Then you might get a sense of Zen, hopefully. We don't have that 3 years. But in the step progressions, you might come across any time when the mind is ready. So, in Zen, trying to find out the Buddha nature within you, once you get a hold of it, you get a glimpse of what it is, then you have to go back to the step 1 to clean out all of that unwholesome mind which accumulated for years and years and years and years, whatever it is. So it's still going back to the step 1. But in Zen, because of you have the core, you understood the direction already, so there is no lost in Zen anymore. Meanwhile, in step progression, you might stop along the way and then you don't know which way to go next. But if you go in the whole way, the whole spectrum of step by step, the meeting point is still there. Both of them will meet. So that would be the general plot for 2 kinds of meditations. Now, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the superficial level of the mind. Those are thoughts and emotions. Years ago, when I first started my meditation, I've read a lot of books too. And it said something about a thought can trigger an enormous emotion which can cause destruction or vice versa. So I decided one day I'm gonna try it. And I used the technique like a mantra, reciting one verse over and over again. I took a very simple phrase, say, I am happy. And I kept saying that. But remember, in this kind of technique, you have to say it wholeheartedly, with your whole heart. Don't say it loosely, lightly or so. You won't get the effect. And I did. I don't know how long I spent saying that. At first, the effect came like a very nice breeze over the body. Feels really good. Okay, breeze. I'm happy. Breeze. I'm happy. Nice breeze. And then, next, it came like a wave on the ocean all over my body. Ooh, nice, better. I'm happy, feeling so good. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. Then a tsunami came that my whole body shook. Guess what? I cried. I really cried for that, being so happy. You must have come to such an experience like that too. Sometimes you're so happy that you just weep. Yes. And this, it did. It just for repeating the phrase, I'm happy. And the effect came. How about this story? Also years ago, I took a course, 10 days intensive course with Goenka style. I don't know if you know Goenka G. Very intensive, very tough to chew, extremely. 10 hours sitting meditation every day. No talking, silent, silent, silent. This is all you do, meditate for 10 hours. And one day, one afternoon, before the session started, sat by me a young man. He's in his mid-20s, late 20s the most. We all sat there waiting for the bell to ring, and then we come in the meditation hall. Out of the blue, he started breathing very heavily. His body jerked back and forth, back and forth. His head swayed side to side, and he started dancing his hands. Everybody looked at him. They all looked at him. And then they turned to me as suggesting that I do something because of I'm the only one who wear a decent Buddhist outfit, and they thought that I was an experienced yogi, so they come to me for such a thing. My first thought was, is it an exorcism? Is that how you say exorcism? Mm-hmm. Holy cow, this is an exorcism. But I don't know what to do. I saw it on TV, but this is real, right? He's just right there next to me. And a policy in Goenka style is that you're not allowed to do anything. Everything. You take a pill, or you take a Tylenol, an Advil, you report it to the manager, project manager, the group manager. So we all went to the manager. He came out, took the man away. For a couple hours, he came back normal. He joined the group again, and we went on until the course is over. I wouldn't let that opportunity pass by. I kept waiting until the course ends. I came interview him. What is going on, my friend? And then he actually said, there was an image of someone doing bad to him. And that image caused him thinking. And then it just keep feeding each other until that there is some kind of energy, uncontrollable energy, took over him. And that's how he did it. That's how he didn't know why, but that's what happened. So thought and emotion, just like two that binds together that cause the destruction. Thought gives fear to emotion. Emotion burns more. The more emotion burns, the more thoughts process. keep thinking, and then the more you keep thinking, the more that you give fuels to the emotion, and then the more emotion burns, you give out more thoughts. So that vortex keeps going, and then until there's an outburst of destruction. So don't take it lightly with thought. Don't play with it. Very, very important. Yes. Those two incidents really happened. And in meditation, we have to pay attention close to everything. In Abhidharma, Buddhist psychology, there are terms of first application and second application. The first application is like a bee flying on the air, and the flower is down here. The bee flies around. It sees the flowers, but it's not landing down yet. And the second application is that you get closer, like the bees that land down on the flower to suck out the nectar. In meditation, same thing. Sometimes you watch yourself in general way. You don't see much detail of what it is happening. So you have to really land down on the object, which is called the second application. Pay really close attention. Just like that, a picture, a page with words that far from you, you don't see it close, you don't see what it is. But when it's close enough, you can read what it is. Same thing. If you really, really pay attention to your objects, your breathing, your touching sensation, or what is your mind is saying, working, and then you can see clearly what it is. And the more clearer, the more power that you see it, the more better you understand. And the benefit of the second application is that you temporarily subdue your 5 hindrances. You don't have much of chattering in your mind. And when you don't have much chattering in your mind, that turns into an energy. The more energy that you observe, then the more clearer that you can see. And there are so many things between one breath. There are so many things. It's not simple, just breathe. No. So many things. Very, very interesting. Even a sensation, just a tiny speck of sensation. Just like that you macroscope, right? Macroscope. Look really inside of it, and then you enlarge your object out, and then you can see, holy, this is a whole new world which I haven't seen, which is actually happening every time. Yes. So it's very beneficial that when you meditate, you pay close attention to whatever your object is, and you see different kind of wonderful effect, wonderful animation within the point of concentration. I don't want to talk much. Sometimes it's going to throw you off or so. So I'm open for questions. Yes.
The object that you talk about, would that be my breath? Would that be an image that I have when meditating? Do I focus on, say, the image of an animal?
Thank you. Now we're talking about meditation. Yes. It doesn't matter which is which. Whatever predominant. Sometimes the breath is predominant. And sometimes an image is predominant. And then you pay attention to it. And sometimes there will be a primary object and then secondary objects. A primary object is that you follow your breath closely, but in the background of your mind, it is still not clear. So there are some thoughts that creeps in all the times, but not as strong. And then you can recognize that as a secondary object. Because of, if we don't pay undivided attention to the object, then there will be a chance of secondary object, which is quite often that the thought of the mind will creep in the background. But if you have that kind of experience, you have some kind of concentration, some samatha and samadhi already, which is great. Yes. And then sometimes upon how advanced you are, you don't have to follow either one. You sometimes can follow that, okay, the image is so strong, okay, I'm gonna follow the image. And then when the image getting weaker, you go back to your breath. So it doesn't matter. But the thing is that, like I said before, that love your crooked meditation with your crooked heart, which means that don't suffer yourself under meditation. Meditation is supposed to be fun, not to be suffering. Don't fight with it. By the means of observing. Sometimes, quite often that I have to remind myself, okay, observe. That's it. Nothing else. Just observe. And then when you do that, you don't get attached to the good meditation, and then you don't reject to the bad meditation, because the good and the bad are subject to impermanent. So the key point is that to observe without any kind of attitude into it anymore. Then you can turn the session into a very joyful zeal, jest, like that. Yes.
Yeah, the gradual and the sudden, the gradual and the sudden. So is the idea that you do the gradual for many years and you slowly get, more and more insight into your mind, and then after many years, then you have the sudden, you get it, and so you do the gradual many years, and then at the end, you have the sudden. Is that the idea?
We have to go back to the karma a little bit. Let's say that you practice Zen past couple lives. Then this life, you just hear one sentence, and then you understood what Zen is. What is the naked awareness is. Then you don't have to go gradual. But again, 99.9% experienced master said that you get a sense of Zen, but that's not it. There are a whole lot of load of dirt within the mind that one needs to clean up. So you still go back to the step one, which is the gradual. Meanwhile, the gradual one goes very steady because of they have step-by-step instructional progress. So there's no loss in there. But you don't know when that it happens during the long way of practicing. It might happen here, it might happen here, it might happen here that you suddenly you realize of the Buddha nature. And keep in mind that the gradual one, the actual gradual one, they don't pay attention much to the Buddha nature because they consider the Buddha nature is one mental factor in the consciousness. They don't consider Buddha nature as important, but in Zen, it's really important, it's real crucial that you have to find out what it is. When you have found that out already, then you are not lost anymore because you have a concrete goal to strive forward without being lost. And in gradual steps, sometimes a yogi with arrogance, they might stop along the way and say, oh, this is enough. And then they don't strive for the end. Then they don't know what it is. But actually, at both ends, they all meet in the same point, which is letting go. Liberation is what? Free. Free of what? Free of attaching of anything. As long as you attach, then you're not free. It's very simple, extremely simple.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when you say don't play with your thought, is that related to this? How you said you keep saying like, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy, and then you feel you're happy. So is that related to the law of attraction? Or like the universe responds to your thought? So if you say you're happy, then you're gonna feel like you're happy, but you don't say like, I am not sad. Which is not sad and happy, but
Right.
sad is the word sad in you.
Mhm.
So it's my response to you as a sadness, then happy? Is that-
It's just like the cause and effect. That you try to generate something, then that kind of energy of generation will produce some kind of effect. But remember, this is a temporary effect. It's not a permanent effect. And the capability of the thought is that it can bring out any kind of dilemmas, from good to bad. if you have studied some kind of metta meditation, then you know how to you generate love to someone, you generate love to yourself, and when you do that, the temporary effect comes, but it's only temporary. So it's because of your will of wanted that, and that wanting produced the effect. And that effect is the conditioned effect. It's not natural. Anything that caused by conditioned is bound to be impermanent. Is that okay?
Last week you talked about Vipassana and Zen meditation. I understood when you said concentrate, because I practice Vipassana mostly, but I thought Zen was to let it go, was the opposite, to not concentrate at all on the thought. Oh, okay, so
Zen is
when
to
you say concentrate, you mean just notice the sensation or the thought, or that's what you mean, just notice it. It doesn't mean, like you said, attached to it.
No,
right?
The word
concentration.
you can use the word touch by now because of as long as soon as you regain your consciousness from sleeping, then 5 things are happening right away. Those are sensation, perception, thoughts, volitions, and one more thing.
Mental formation.
Those things are in the mental formations. Let me see. Feelings. Yes. Sensation, thought, perception, volition, and feeling. Those 5 things, as soon as you wake up, those 5 things start working. The 5 mental factors start working right away. So those mental factors rely upon some kind of object. Nearly, really, that you pay attention or you don't pay attention, they still work. But if you pay attention, then you can differentiate that what is what, and that's why the power of attention is very crucial in Vipassana. Zen, meanwhile, try it sometimes. This is fun. Whatever that you grab hold of, let go right away. Just let go whatever that grab hold of. Like right now, you listen to me. Let go of the attention of listening to me, and then you will have a sense. You will come to a sense of, oh, this is Zen. This is how the expression of Zen is. It's very important because of Zen is the end of the path, which is the beginning too, because of the cycle. Where's the end? Where's the beginning? When you have the beginning, then the end is right there, and the end is also the beginning. So they all merge. They all merge, and this is very important that you can classify whereabout of Vipassana and whereabout of Zen. This is very interesting. Thank you. Marcus, tell me something, please. I'll shoot it now.
Yeah, I don't have any questions at this time.
Oh, cool. That's Zen. No comments, no questions raised, no nothing. It's just blank. That's Zen. I saw two kids in the back. Let's say that. Do you have anything, any comments, any interesting points that you want to share?
Okay.
When you say nothing, you say, no, you realize, do you really feel that you say that? Or is it just come out naturally?
Both.
Both. Always, in any case, no matter what, mindfulness is very, very important. It's really important. A crucial piece of information that you can't let go of in practicing meditation. So just be mindful. The more you are mindful, the better you are. And the process goes gradual, just like the water that washes away a rock. It's not instantaneously. But over the years, then you see that the wearing down of the rock. And the power of the water, when you see it first, there's nothing. Water just flowing through the rock. But over the years, over the times, you see that it can hone down the rock. And when, you don't know. Little by little. It's just like the attachment. I'm in charge of washing dishes almost everywhere I go. And when I come to washing pots and pans, such a thing, I saw residue, and where did it come from? When it's brand new, you don't see any residue in the pots and pans. But then over times that when you cook, a tiny layer that stay there, you don't see it. 10 layers, you don't see it. Maybe 20 layers, you start noticing something. And then at the 30 layers, it's so obvious. Same thing. When you keep doing things, that becomes a natural inclination for you to go toward that kind of habit. While I was in school, they often say, practice takes you to Carnegie Hall. I study music. So same thing. Meditation, mindfulness takes you to the deathless lane. So thank you so much. May all the good fortune comes to you. May the divine, the Deva, protect you by the virtuous power of the Buddhas, by the virtuous power of the Sanghas, by the virtuous power of the Dharma. May you attain liberation. Thank you.
Thank you. I did want to ask you
Yes.
if we, can we come here when, like on the weekends and walk or
Yes.
sit?
Yes.
Do you want to know ahead of time or?
Oh, no, just feel free. Feel
Okay.
free. Yes.
So you don't have to worry about the car and the,
No, there's no
Parking lot.
worry.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
I
Yes,
just wanted to
Marcus.
say, I do encourage people to sit up close so it's easier to hear Tay.
And you know, we're a small group, we all know each other, so if you come in late, it doesn't matter, feel free to sit up close. So.
Thank you for being here.
We're afraid to
with
be
us.
on tape.